we were born in 1980. Thanks. We all have a birth year, right? So what do you fucking do? But because we were born in 1980, it means we went through high school in an era that was like very popular with raves. Wait to see where I go with this, but it basically means there was a small window of time where we just happened to be at our most adolescent, most anti-establishment, most weird hormonal acting out type stage, right at the exact same time as raves. And this seems probably like a weird random thing to open what I'm about to say, but what it did was it afforded us 3 solid years of dressing, behaving, listening to, indulging in everything alternative you can imagine. From rave scene to punk scene, we wore huge pants and chains that dragged along the ground, and our hair we just let grow unruly and like bleached it out and dyed it different colors, and our rooms were like just horrifying, like we're talking like American Horror Story.
No,
like
my room was actually very, very...
For a couple years, though, you were also like just posters everywhere. I mean, like the reason why a lot of us in our 30s question if we should have children. Basically, we were that. But we were also really confident, and we had a really great group of friends who were also super alternative. And even though we lived in a very protected world in a strange way, because there was like 20 of us that hung out together, it did allow us to really explore who we were as people and to be really different. And although neither of us were out at the time, I think it was the foundation that we sort of used to come out, because we had really thoughtful, open-minded parents who knew there was something different about us, not just because we dressed like characters from My So-Called Life. Like, they were open-minded and they were thoughtful, and they let us do really wild things with our hair. And when my dad caught us going to raves, he gave us a cab card and said, at least don't get in the car with people if they're drinking and driving. And I thought that, they really supported us as we went through that kind of weird stage. And so when it came time to come out to our parents and to our friends, although we both had apprehension and although both of us had different experiences and they weren't completely positive, since coming out when we were, Sara was 18 and I was 19, we've been embraced and loved by our family. We've gone on to have this really incredible career, not just in Canada, but around the world. And we don't ever take it for granted that our experience is pretty unique. And we've heard stories over the last 19 years from hundreds and thousands of people from all different places, a varying degree of experience, from the really positive, a teenager that comes out and then shows up at the show with their parents who are like, my kid's gay and you're gay and it's cool, and you're like, that's awesome, to horrifying, like leaving home, being kicked out, parents hate them, like just the whole spectrum. There's still countries where you aren't allowed to be gay. You guys all know this. I mean, it's Canada, we are pretty progressive, but a couple years ago, Sara and I started talking about starting a foundation, and we were trying to figure out what to focus on, and it just made sense to us. We're feminists, we're queer, we've got a really solid base of people who understand those things, and so we started the Tegan and Sara Foundation. And tonight is not just the 10th anniversary of the con that we're celebrating, but it's also a fundraiser for that. So a portion of your ticket went to the Tegan and Sara Foundation, so you've already generously given to But also, if you've been listening to the Tegan and Sara record, the Con X covers, the proceeds from that are also going to the foundation. And we signed a couple hundred copies, so if you haven't got it yet, it's $10. We signed it. There's a ton of bands, Churches, Paramore, Grimes, Ryan Adams, Cyndi Lauper, all these different people covered the con, and the proceeds from that are also being donated by our label and by Sara and I and by all the artists on it. So there's lots of ways for you to help, but Sara and I really think that all of us should get involved. Whatever you do, we should all be involved. It's our sort of civic and human duty to be involved. And so even if it's not the Tegan and Sara Foundation, I hope that seeing what's happening in our cousin country down there, that we don't become apathetic. We've proudly traveled around the world for 19 years hearing about how great Canada is, and it is great. It is a wonderful country, and we're very proud to be from it. Our healthcare, our socialism, it's all great in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of things in Canada that need to change too, and we acknowledge the systemic racism and homophobia and transphobia and sexism that still exists. And Sara and I just want to make Canada the best place it can be, and we're doing it with your help. And so our foundation raises funds for LGBTQ organizations that center women and girls. So you've already given $1 by showing up tonight, but I hope that on your way out you can stop by the Tegan and Sara booth and you could drop whatever else you have. $1, $5, $10. There's tote bags with free Tegan and Sara merch inside. There's pins you can donate. There's free postcards. If at a minimum, you just go check out our website and see about the work that we're doing. It really matters, and we would really appreciate it. But as a minimum, we just appreciate you being here and supporting us, because you've given us a really amazing life. But us being queer and traveling around the world has given hope to tons of people who didn't think that you could be successful or happy if you were gay. And you can. You can be really successful and happy. So you've made other contributions too. I guess if we're keeping track of that, you've actually made some financial contributions, but you've also made some psychological contributions as well. So thank you for that. We're going to play this one last song, and I want to dedicate it to everybody who's here, whether it's your first show or your 10th, if it's your first year knowing of us, or your 20th. Sara and I really don't take for granted the career that we have. It's not every artist that gets to put out 9 records and travel for 19 years, and it's been such a fun night, but also a fun couple weeks reconnecting with our audience, telling stories, playing acoustic, and we're going to go on a little break for a while, but I just want to say that I'm really looking forward to coming back and figuring out what we're going to do next, and I really appreciate the support that we've had in Canada, and we really have been looking forward to the show Winnipeg, so thank you so much for coming out. Sara, do you want to say anything? Anything to encourage people to put their loonies into? You had a good couple loony and toony jokes the other night. You got any?
Well, when you start with the loony, you really sort of blow my joke ending.
Sorry.
No, I mean, I will say this: we have amazing volunteers tonight. Each city,
yeah.
We have asked for any support that we can from our community, and each night, wonderful people come out who are in really no way tied to the Tegan and Sara Foundation formally. They just actually want to hang out, and they're there to collect donations and just support anybody who wants to make any. If you want to make a credit card donation, or you want to just talk to some really sweet people, you can find them at the booth tonight. But I just want to specifically say to them tonight, thank you so much. We don't have, let's give them a huge round. I think the thing that touches me about the people who will come out and actually volunteer at our booth without even knowing us is that I don't know if I would have been the person who would have done something like that. And
I don't think you would.
I know, it makes me sound like I'm a bad person, but I think that for a lot of years, I don't know if I was the person to get involved. I think that I sort of was a bit closed off from being political, and a bit closed off from being active in the communities that I was a part of. And I guess the lesson that I've learned in the last 6 or 7 years is that it's better late than never. You know, I think for me, being queer has meant a lot of different things, but living down in the United States has made me feel really proactive about my politics, and made me feel really unafraid to bother people. Like I feel like I don't want to spend whatever life I have left on this earth pretending like I don't think that it's unfair to treat people badly because you don't understand what they do that has nothing to do with you. So, anyways, that's my little piece.
So politely,
I know. In America, I would have to use a lot stronger language, but I know that as Canadians, you hear me. But we are so incredibly grateful, and yeah. Anyways, thank you so much. I feel like I'm getting emotional, but we really do thank you so much. And this is a weird way to end the show because it's sort of a sexy song, but
that's actually what the writer who said the drama. She also said this is a weird way to end the show.
It's a weird way to end, but you know, whatever. It's Thursday, the weekend's coming, so.